new and innovative technologies for sustainability education. The advent of digital technologies and artificial intelligence has transformed various sectors globally, including education. So by focusing on these areas, this particular session is going to aim to contribute significantly to the ongoing discourse on sustainability education and the role of technology in creating a more equitable and sustainable future. So for that, we have this galaxy of eminent panelists. I would like to invite them over here on the stage. So to start with, please join me in welcoming the chair of this session, Dr. Kiran Karnik, former President, NASSCOM, New Delhi. Please put your hands together for Dr. Karnik. I also request Dr. Nakul Parashar, former Director, Vigyan Prasad, DST, Government of India, to please join us on the dais. Please put your hands together for his welcome. We also welcome on the dais Mr. Tim Connors, Executive Director, EdTech Advisory Group, Boston, USA. Please put your hands together for his welcome. With a round of claps, I would also like to welcome Dr. Ibrahim Hafizur Rahman, Director, School of Sustainability and CEO, NAMTech IIT Campus, Gandhinagar. Please put your hands together for his welcome. Also join me in welcoming on the dais Ms. Nilima Vobugari, co-founder AI Ensured Responsible AI, Bangalore. Please put your hands together for her welcome. Also, I request Dr. Kumudhini Ravindra, CSO and co-founder, EdTech Inc. and Chief Mentor at Blue Lotus Inc., Bangalore. Please put your hands together for her. So, as we have the dignitaries over here, I would like to hand over to the chair, but I would like to introduce him so that after that he can just take over the stage and introduce the other panelists as well. So, Dr. Kiran Karnik, he's a notable Indian academic and industry leader known for his contributions to the information technology and telecommunications sector. He served as the president of NASSCOM, where he played a pivotal role in promoting the Indian IT industry globally. He worked with the ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, and conceptualized the satellite instructional television experiment, which won wide national and international acclaim, including the first UNESCO IPDC prize for rural communication. Mr. Karnik also served as the director of the Consortium for Educational Communication set up by the University Grants Commission. He also served as managing director of Discovery Networks and oversaw the launch of Discovery Channel in South Asia in 1995, followed by Animal Planet in 1999. He was awarded the Padma Shri, the fourth highest civilian award by the Government of India. So let's hear it for Dr. Kiran Karnik. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to this session, practically the closing of the day, you might say. So this is like the slog overs in a T20 for cricket fans. So we try and make it as lively and interesting as a final T20 session. This is a topic of great importance and great relevance. Sustainability education, but particularly in today's context and day, the use of technology for sustainability education. How best can we try to use all the modern tools that are now at hand to promote sustainability education? We have here a very eminent panel bringing very diverse perspectives and different experience from the ground to academics to overall policy level. And I think it's going to be a session that's going to look at things from where we are to where we can be and maybe where we should be. So I don't want to take too much time. I might spend a few minutes at the end to try and share some more thoughts and pick up all the pearls of wisdom that you hear today. So without further ado, I want to hand over the session to our moderator, Dr. Parashar, a very distinguished career behind him. I will not introduce him. He might want to say a few words himself, but he used to be director of a place of which I was very fond called Vigyan Prasad, which was all about promoting science. It was about converting, as I told somebody, converting science from wow, how fantastic, to aha, which means now I understand it. And I think to me that's the crux of all education, whether it's sustainability or at a broader level science, that can you bring that understanding, the interest, the relevance, and the excitement of the topic, rather than just impressing people by throwing big things at them. So, Dr. Parashar, all yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for your kind words. And thank you, Dr. Rambuj, and the entire Mobius Foundation for having me here. And I'll just take a 1 minute or even lesser than that to just let you know how I got into all of this. I met Dr. Rambuj, and we were just talking about new technology, sustainability, and everybody talks about artificial intelligence. And we thought, let's get a session here as quickly as nice as we can. And then we thought whom to invite, whom not to invite. So without much of it, I thought we have gotten about 4 people here, and all 4 of them have created a niche for themselves, particularly in the area of education, in the area of technology, in the area of all these new things that we talk about, and we are a little taken aback when all of this comes together. So what I'll do is I have a few pointers that we had decided for this session's discussion, and unlike other sessions, we would not believe, we don't believe in, restricting our panelists to, asking them questions separately. So here are a few pointers that I'll read them out for you. One is leveraging new learning technologies for sustainability, the role of artificial intelligence in sustainability education, EdTech solutions for sustainability, connecting students globally through digital platforms, challenges and opportunities in integrating AI and EdTech in sustainability education, future trends in EdTech, and creating a global network for AI-driven education. So before I, let the panelists talk on these topics, I would want to, introduce them, a very small, brief introduction about each of them. And the first one to speak on this, I would invite my dear friend, Tim Connors, who's come all the way from Boston for this conference. Thank you, Tim, for flying all the way from Boston to this place. And so the floor is yours. I've just spoken all those points. So points that you think are relevant and that you would want to talk upon. Time limit from here to Boston.
Yes. Well, good afternoon. Thank you, Nicole, for that kind description, and Dr. Ram and the foundation for inviting me here. I've had a wonderful few days. My first time to New Delhi, my first time to India. It was a very long flight. I broke it in half, so I'm very lucky in that regard. But I think what you're here to listen to us talk about is innovation. What is happening in education? We heard about textbook development this morning. Yeah, textbooks have been around for 400 years. Here comes AI. Here comes the digital revolution. I see a bunch of kids in the back of the room and upstairs. I bet you half of them, if not more, are using some form of AI to get some of their work done today. That's amazing. AI is here to stay, will only get better and stronger, so we all have to step into the fear, no matter how old we are. It's an amazing process. It's going to change every aspect of our lives, and hopefully will help us improve with sustainability across the world. That's what will also give us the ability to communicate and learn in a very impactful way about sustainability. I think I'd like to speak about, really at a high level, from a US perspective, what's happening in schools in the United States. It's hard. AI is creating challenges for every aspect, I think, except the students. I will start with the policymakers. Let's talk about Congress in the United States. My opinion, they have no clue. what AI means. When you see the leaders of technology companies speak to them in committee rooms in Washington, D.C., the congressmen really can't even ask correct questions. When you get to the state level, do they have policies about AI? They don't, not yet. They're thinking about them, they're talking about them. AI's been around for at least 2 years, actually longer. There have been companies working with this in the personal learning space for 10 years or longer. So you've got challenges around what educational institutions should do. If you have leaders, college presidents, superintendents of school districts, by the way, there were 15,000 school districts in the United States. They all operate independently. They are guided by their states that they live in, but they still operate independently, have their own budgets, and spend the money the way they want to, not the way the state tells them. But if the state doesn't have an AI solution or a policy for them, then it's up to a district superintendent who may or may not want to know enough about AI. So are superintendents in the United States being professionally educated about the value of AI and its meaning to students and learning? A little bit. They all need to embrace it. That sort of gets back to a big word, because we're all human, the word change. We heard a little bit about that earlier. Change is tough for all of us. If I was teaching for 15 years, I probably taught the same way. Probably taught using a textbook and a teacher's notebook. Now you're asking me to go digital? Now you're asking me to understand AI? I don't like that. You're asking me to teach differently. So there's impediments to what AI can do today. The other interesting thing is students are already using it. So if students use it, what do teachers do? Their first concern is, well, they're cheating. They're letting AI write their papers, kids, students, right? It's okay. What does the teacher do? Well, what guidance has she been given, he or she been given? Maybe a lot? Most likely not. Most likely not. So their teachers are also thinking about this word artificial intelligence and what it means to them personally. Oh, it's pretty scary. It's going to take my job. That's a long way away. But the reality is it's creating fear in the teacher world. Talk about students, they want it, they love it, give it more to them. Are they learning by using AI, by using ChatGPT? It's up to the teacher to measure it. Let them submit their paper. Maybe there is some AI in the middle of that. There probably is. Then have them present the information without the paper. Do different ways of teaching, different methodologies that allows you to prepare, allow the teacher to understand what has been learned and what hasn't. But AI can prepare a quiz, can deliver a quiz, can grade the quiz, can note it in the student information system. Takes a lot of work off the teacher's hand. So that's quite cool. There's a lot more. There's a lot more weeds to get into. But I think in the United States, it's a challenge. I think there are friends of mine who are building companies around delivering guidance on how to build policy at the state level, and at the district level to give guidance to some of these schools. But I hope they make a choice to get there faster, because it's coming fast. It's changing right now. And it's not going away. It's not going away in our homes. It's not going to go away in the schools. It's just going to be used. A lot more to talk about. Hopefully we can answer some of those questions for you. But thank you for having me.
Thank you, Tim. My bad, Tim, I didn't introduce you formally. So better late than never. Tim is a seasoned EdTech expert, senior business advisor, helping companies scale in the US markets, focusing on readiness, roadmaps, and revenue with expertise in K-12, higher ed, and workforce development. He has a special interest in sustainability education and is based in Boston. Tim leads EdTech advisory group, supporting product development, marketing, sales, partnerships, and for EdTech companies. He also advises businesses seeking to innovate and improve learning in education and workforce sector. So if you want, you can speak to him offline. I hope we can. Can we? Yeah. Our next panelist is Dr. Kumudini Ravindra. She is a business transformation leader with 25 years of experience in energy economics, clean tech, and innovation. She is the chief mentor at Blue Lotus, principal partner at InnoMantra Consulting, and chairs IEEE Women in Engineering at Bangalore, and IIT's Energy Working Group, with a PhD in Clean Tech Management from ICSE Bangalore, an engineering degree and an MBA. She has transformed businesses, revamped curriculums, and is a published author and a keynote speaker. Notably, she holds India's first PhD on community microgrids and has led impactful global projects. Over to you, Kamud.
I will be using mic there.
Kumudini, while you walk over there, I just want to say thank you to Tim, not only for your thoughts, but for presenting them so succinctly and sharing with other panelists that they might follow your example given our time constraints. But sorry, Kumudini, go ahead. Didn't want to.
Yes.
I was just acting as a filler while you started.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Rambuj, for this invitation, and also to Mobius Foundation for this interesting conference that you have set up, and congratulations on its 6th anniversary. Without much ado, in a way, I'd probably be summarizing a lot of stuff that we have heard over the day as well. So first of all, I kind of want to create a context. Where is our world headed today? Maybe with just a few snapshots of what we've been seeing around the world, just to kind of give you a glimpse of what it is that we are dealing with. So this seems to be the norm today. This was what was happening a few years back, and the days are just going by. This again is, I mean, it was taken in one war, but now it seems to be the case everywhere as well. And this is again another reality that we are opening ourselves up to. So cyber-physical systems are here to stay, and we have to learn to deal with it, whether we like it or not. I know a lot of people in the management circles talk about this VUCA world. There was a hedge added to it where they said it's a volatile world, it's a complex world, it's an uncertain world, and an ambiguous world. Then they said it's hyper-connected. What's happening in New York is affecting here, Delhi here, or maybe a small village in near Hyderabad somewhere. But what I would probably say is our world has transitioned into something beyond that, what I would like to call the FTP world. We are a world that is fragile. It's transient. For all those people who understand systems, we are in a transient state. So gone are those steady state days. We are in a transient state, and it's paradoxical. Paradoxical also kind of implies that, what we think, because we think linearly, what we think we have to do in one direction gives you the exact opposite results, and you have no clue why you're doing this. And managements have no clue, policymakers have no clue. So we feel that, an FTP world requires a completely different kind of thinking. So what is the challenge? When we talk about education itself, the world of work, as we know, has changed completely. In fact, the World Economic Forum says that 50% of all employees need reskilling by 2025, which is next year. And I don't think we have been able to manage that. 85% of the jobs in 2030, which is when the SDG goals are supposed to have been manifested, the jobs haven't even been invented yet, right? We are talking about Industry 4.0, but the pace at which technology is changing, people are still talking Industry 4.0, but there is also already plans of Industry 5.0 that's happening, right? So there's a technological shift that is merging our physical, digital, and biological worlds into one. And a lot of things, so 5 things or 5 trends that are shaping the new behaviors of individuals. I meet people across different places, whether it's in conferences or in colleges, in classrooms. I speak to teachers, I speak to students. Everybody is displaying new behaviors. What used to be outlier behavior today is the norm. So the kind of systems that we have in the present seems to not work anymore. So either the system is not really, matching the crowd, which is what exactly is the issue that even Tim was referring to. The millennial workforce, nobody has a clue how to deal with millennial workforce. And by the time we kind of figure out what Gen Z is doing, we have a Gen Alpha that's getting created. So, what are we really doing, right? And technology seems to be growing at such an amazing pace that none of us are able to keep up. Mobility is changing, technologies have changed. Teachers didn't have a choice during COVID to just shift to digital. A lot of work shifted digitally. So there is also globalization. I'm not going to go into much details, but yes, AI and automation is going to change skills needed in the workforce. The World Economic Forum has put out a framework for what Education 4.0 needs to be. And there are all these different skills that have been talked about. Interestingly, there are the green skills as well, which one of the previous panelists was referring to, which is also about environmental stewardship and so on. But what I want to leave, and the skills of the future itself, so there is cognitive flexibility, digital literacy, which are things that people are working for. But what I want to place before you is something slightly different. And that's the fact that since we are living in an FTP world, we have to first learn to survive. Now, here is the other thing. The paradox is that the Earth will survive. Do we want to be the dinosaur, or do we want to be the people who will thrive and get into the next generation? Do our next generations really look at a planet that's sustainable? So it's first of all very important for us to survive. And when you want to survive, the kind of things that you need to do are very different from what you would do if you were just driving or thriving in an era, right? So I think the time is for us now to understand how to survive this world and then build on systems that will help us drive and thrive. So, and the one place that we can always look for answers is nature. The Earth has always known how to rebalance herself. It's just a matter of us taking a page from her book and figuring it out ourselves. So whether it's through biomimicry, designing for the edge, or diversity by design, we need to start mimicking the systems that we inhabit in. Rather than creating monoliths, it's important for us to start diversifying. We need to start looking at skills also very differently. And for that reason, I feel the competencies that are very critical for the tomorrow and for today is systems thinking, competence, anticipatory competence. I'm not sure how many of you have heard these terms. Systems thinking, I'm guessing everybody know. Interpersonal skills, I think everybody knows. But anticipatory thinking or normative competence and strategic competence, I have interacted with faculty across. They do not know how to create a research design. They do not know what to research on. Somehow, somewhere, we talk about scientific temper, but we don't tell people how do you know how to create a hypothesis and really figure how things are. Can we become experimenters in our own life? And that's something that is lacking today. And I think it's very important that we need to establish these practices right from childhood. And Industry 4.0 would eventually result in Education N.0. I don't want to put a number to it, but it's all about interconnection, information transparency. We need to use the technologies that's available to us, and it's about decentralized solutions. And what emerging technologies really can do for us is enable autonomy and agency. Today, students and children and learners have personalization that's possible. Gone are the days where the only way you could learn was in a classroom where you had to sit and listen to a lecture from a teacher. Today, if you are somebody who, has audio skills, so probably you can just listen to a lecture. Another person can watch a video about it, right? There are different ways, and AI and other such technologies have the possibility of personalizing the content in a way which a learner wants it. And that is where we need to start focusing on as well. Peer-to-peer interactions. There is a lot of learning that happens when we are together. And that is something that we need to enable. So one of the questions in the previous sessions was, how do we take in traditional knowledge? Traditional knowledge earlier were always shared through stories. So why is it so difficult for us to start creating those stories and narratives that we can share with each other, which enables peer-to-peer interactions. Compatibility. We need to design systems that are compatible with each other. We need to create flexible systems. That is what nature does. We need to have scalable systems. So, like the fractal geometry that we all talk about, right? Create for the smallest size and then just keep repeating it, which is what nature does. It actually has perfected that design, and that's what we need to also look at. And that's where we can get in the efficiency and the economics. So finally, I would say we need to design our education systems for sustainability, for access and affordability, for quality and reliability, equity and diversity, circularity and sustainability. In the end, I kind of want to leave you with a limerick. Technology is a tool. Emerging technologies are now even entering the school. They all make us look really cool. But remember, in the hands of a fool, they will unravel faster than a spool. As some anonymous person said, artificial intelligence cannot trump human stupidity. So I'll leave you with that. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. You brought visual, you brought visual to our discussions, and that makes a lot of difference. Our next panelist is Dr. Ibrahim Hafizur Rahman, who holds a master's degree in organic chemistry, specialized in environmental management from the University of Manchester, and a doctorate from the University of Utrecht. With over 34 years in experience in energy, environment, and sustainable development, he has held leadership roles at TERI, followed by VITO, managing major initiatives and programs. He's currently the director of the School of Sustainability at the ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel, India's educational initiative, NAMTech, New Age Makers Institute of Technology at Gandhinagar. Dr. Rahman has co-authored books and published widely in scientific and policy journals, with work spanning Asia, Middle East, Africa, and Europe. Thank you.
First of all, thanks to Mobius Foundation, our friend Dr. Ram, for this opportunity and to be part of this elite and distinguished panel. I'm delighted to be here for the simple reason that this comes at a very opportune time, and also following up on my previous speaker who talked about Industry 4.0. This particular institute is focused actually on Industry 4.0. But before I head into that, I just want to sort of place the context today for us. We have since morning talked about a lot on the delivery side and the content side of education and sustainability. The key words here to me are technology, education, sustainability. So these are the operative words. And if we deconstruct, then I'd like to say that we need to step back and see first, where is sustainability placed? Sustainability place conceptually, second infrastructurally, third at the delivery level, and fourth at the conduct and the behavior and the real functional level. If you start from the beginning, then I think there is a huge role that technology can play at the conceptual level. And why I talk of conceptual level, because sustainability, we are talking about it a lot. It's a buzzword. It has gained some currency, some importance, but in reality, we are still quite far. And it's not very difficult for us to see. If you see the streets, if you see our daily lives, see our conduct individually and collectively at home level, at institution level, I think all of us know all that. So I think from a concept level, it's important that technology and sustainability come together. It's important from the point of view that there are some inherent things which the technology can facilitate. And mind you, when I talk of technology, we are more into IT and AI and a lot of other things. But technology has been there since time immemorial. So technology actually taught us, Mr. Rajendra Singh is not here, technology taught us a lot about sustainability. Rajasthan, the entire water conservation technology that existed there is an example of sustainability. So this modern technology that has come, it should basically, first of all, help us in conceptualizing and in relating the technology, sustainability, bridge and relationship. That's the first point. The second point is that once you have done that, when we come to the education sector, is the education infrastructure itself, is it sustainability driven or not? Because delivery to me comes at the third stage. If the entire infrastructure is sustainability driven, starting, I mean, I now work extensively at the industry level. They have beautiful landscaping, nothing to do with biodiversity, nothing to do with utility, nothing to do with sustainable as sustainable. But of course, when I walk into any of these, they look beautiful. Same goes for the schools and the universities and systems that, how many of the buildings that are constructed are they, I mean, we are copying concepts from Europe, from US, from other places. How much of it is driven from a sustainable climatic zoning perspective? And there is plenty of technology available. For want of time, I'm not going to go into the details of it. I'll quickly go through some of it through visuals and slides. That's my second point. The third point is that once you've done the first, the conceptually, technology has facilitated concepts, technology has facilitated us to connect tradition, modern technology into the infrastructure. The third part comes the delivery. And delivery, of course, today, there is plenty of things that are available. You need to, I was talking to Tim very briefly, what are you developing? But having said that, there is AI, there is a lot of digital technology. I was working on, I'm not going to name the companies, I was told that there are these two super companies who have everything on digital technology. And we work at two levels. One at an ITI level, which is at the bottom of the pyramid, and the other at the advanced level where these professionals coming out, BTechs from IIT. So we requested the faculty that there are these two programs. Please, can you quickly develop content from pulling out from these technologies, that how they can create content and how we can use generative AI to really deliver experiential learning. For us, the bottom line is experiential learning. Everything you do, 70–80% of the learning has to be experiential learning. And unfortunately, we came to the conclusion that there was something available on the manufacturing side, etc. But the colleagues who were working on sustainability came back to me and said, sorry, sir, there's nothing available on sustainability on this. What they were able to pull in was some random videos from here and there from the internet. I can't go into some of the details. So their technology can play a lot of role in terms of setting up demonstration labs. Now we are working with Schneider and Siemens and saying that how we can have demonstration labs, and some of the labs that we have set up at NAMTech are like that. And the final part to me is that 1 + 2, 3, it should lead to behavior change, to conduct, to sustainable lifestyles. If none of this is happening, then the last part is not important. So for that purpose, we split education into 3 parts. The core part, which is fundamental and technology core driven. The other part is more experiential, which extends out to other institutions. If you're having concepts and technology and digital and AI, so we've created a content studio which can reach out to all the engineering colleges across the country where some of the digital content can be delivered. So people who are working on sustainability education do not need to develop islands of excellence. We need to make each of our SMEs, the smaller engineering colleges, basically well-versed in technology concepts. That's one. So these numbers are like that. It would look ridiculous that 3 million and 2 million, but this is doable. I'm more or less done. I'm just showing some photographs. This is, you need to create campuses which are phygital, which show physical traditional technology mesh, but also have the latest on all digital and AI aspects. You need to network. You need to network with the industry. You need to network with academia, and you need to get these networks moving so that all the education that is happening is experiential, is on hand. And you need to redesign the whole programs. You can't have the traditional programs. You need to redesign the whole program. You need to come up with one-year programs. We are doing just one-year programs. Advanced, directly connected to the industry. So that's the whole campus that is coming up is going to be a living laboratory of sustainability. It's not this thing, all the students who come would be part of that. And these are labs. They just mimic the entire ecosystem. They are not labs where you do fundamental research, but you just mimic the entire system. I'm sorry, I'll have to stop here, I think, because I've overrun my time. But I'm truly grateful to Ram and to Mobius Foundation. Wonderful to be part of such a panel and to have the opportunity to listen to the experts in the morning. So congratulations to Mobius Foundation and a great learning experience for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Hafiz Bhai. Thank you so much. Our next panelist is Ms. Neelima Bobugari, who is an AI expert with a BTech from JNTU Hyderabad and an MBA from Symbiosis and over 20 years of experience in training thousands in Python, data science, machine learning, and AI. As co-founder of AI Ensured, she leads AI product testing for fairness and robustness. Recognized with the Karnataka Mahila Ratna and Women in AI Awards, Neelima has contributed to groundbreaking projects in healthcare, legal AI, and crowd behavior prediction, and has filed 3 AI-related patents. Over to you, Neelima.
Thank you, Nakul, for the warm introduction. Thank you, Rambuji and Dr. Aparna for the invite for this sustainability conference on sustainability. It is definitely amazing. Though it is the afternoon session, I see there are some seats vacant, but again in the mornings there were many people who were keen to know about sustainability. This is the problem to solve right now, right? We are all advanced in technology, medicine, different fields, but sustainability is something, if you don't solve it now, the next generations are in trouble, right? We are solving problems only for ourselves. We are not solving the problem for our next generation. And that is where sustainability comes into picture. Now, if I have to talk about the cutting edge technologies like artificial intelligence and the virtual reality in the sustainability domain, there is a great scope for AI to come into picture. As we were discussing in some point, okay, today, we thought about the diverse set of people present across the globe who need to upskill themselves for the technology. Like Kumudini was mentioning, my co-panelist, she was saying 50% upskilling is needed. But do you think it's possible? Yes, it is possible. With AI, along with the other technologies. How does it happen? AI has the ability of personalizing the teaching. That concept is called n equal to 1, wherein let's say we have an LMS. LMS is Learning Management System. I'm talking about the online courses, not the in-person courses, but online courses. Me sitting in India, let's say I'm in the remote place, some village in Karnataka, let's say, and I want to learn a course which is delivered in US. I don't need to go in person to US to learn the course. At the same time, whatever abilities I have, using that, my software will customize it based on my interest, the time I'm spending, the ability that I have, and also the keenness I have, or whatever is required for me. That is n equal to 1. And that is only possible by artificial intelligence. Here, artificial intelligence, when I say AI, AI is the buzzword of the day. But it is not just AI, it is clubbed with other related technologies using application programming interfaces, and of course cloud computing also, where sustainability is a major boom. I mean, in the sense, it is a big benefit for sustainability because, yeah, cloud computing is very helpful in that concept. Now, when we're talking about artificial intelligence, like all of you have seen the e-commerce sites, right? Whether you've gone to Coursera or Udemy courses. Some of the students at the back probably have used Coursera and Udemy to upskill themselves. Others probably may not, but if you have seen e-commerce sites, you buy an item and then you see there is a recommendation that pops up. The person sitting next to you, who is probably your close friend with similar habits, maybe he or she doesn't get the same recommendation as you because the AI is customizing the behavior or the selling pattern over there on e-commerce site. A similar pattern is followed even in n equal to 1 customization of the education. So that is very helpful. Club to that, we also have the concept of virtual reality, wherein when you are using AI software to learn something, you also have experiential learning. So you will be moved to a different world where you also feel and experience as if you are in between, let's say a device. You get a feeling of touching the device. So that is the real great experience. And that is all possible with the cutting edge technologies. Well, AI has many things to do. If I have to talk about the latest baby, that is 2-year-old LLM, that is generative AI, that has created wonders, right? Every other person, you talk about AI, they only talk about ChatGPT. Well, that is a myth. ChatGPT alone is not AI. Many more things are possible with AI, but ChatGPT has taken the world over now. Many LLMs for that matter. If I have to talk about it, there are many people who say, yeah, ChatGPT is actually like one of the previous panelists was also mentioning, there's no harm in students taking the help of ChatGPT to come up with papers. I'm in sync with it. There's no harm in students taking the help of ChatGPT to come up with the papers. That is the draft version. Okay, so there's huge amount of time that is saved, right? So productivity has gone up. Added to what ChatGPT has actually given as output, use your own creative skills to that, or your own knowledge to that, and make it your own paper. Don't you think it is better? Instead of you striving hard for 2 months to come up with a journal paper, you putting only 1 week of effort, because the rudimentary concepts or basic concepts which are already repeated are in the paper that is generated by ChatGPT. On top of it, you are talking about the innovation that you are adding to it. So ChatGPT or any other LLM, these are called large language models, which have taken the content, yeah, they have stolen the content from many journals also, from information across the globe. That is there, but that's okay. But look at the positive point of it. Using ChatGPT, the information that is retrieved or the insight that we can derive is huge, and it's very fast also. Well, sometimes it is hallucinated. There comes trustworthy AI. Trustworthy AI is where you have to make sure that the AI product that you're using is trustworthy. That has to be done by the owner of AI. So Government of India is also working on it. That's called responsible AI, which is mandating that every AI application should behave like human, wherein there is no biasness, it's fair, and also it covers all the possible corner cases. The model is secure, the model is fair. So all these concepts come under responsible AI, which is very much the need of the world, because whether you say yes or no, you have to depend on AI going forward. How many of you, especially the young ones I say, how many of you can live without Alexa at home? Oh, great. Young children are able to live. Without Alexa, you can survive, is it? Great. Okay, but I can't do that. Even to set a timer, if I'm doing something, I say set a timer for 5 minutes. So, if not Alexa, how about Google Maps? You can't survive, right? Because AI products are we are going to depend on AI so much. Every other work that we do, we have to depend on AI going forward. So AI is inevitable, but let's aim for responsible AI. Our product AI Ensured is into responsible AI, which tests and validates AI applications for responsible AI. So any of you who are averse to AI, please get rid of that feeling, because we are going to depend on AI, and you have to upskill yourselves to use AI at least. You need not develop an AI product, but at least upskill yourself to use it, because leveraging AI is the way to go. Okay, so welcome all to the AI world, where we are going to also come up with a sustainable world, where we use upcoming technologies, many technologies. The limitation of time, I can't speak more, but thank you, Rambuji and Professor Aparna, for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Nilima. Before we get a final word from our chair, I'd request all the panelists, 30 seconds, what would be your message to the topic that we were all engaged in? Tim, you go first.
Well, I think if we continue to talk about AI, and we were talking about the students in the back of the room, it is to your benefit to understand it and to be able to use it wisely. EdTech companies that are selling their products into education, if you want to work in that space, they will find you and they will hire you. So it's a great skill set to have on your resume as you build your career. Something to think about. But EdTech companies definitely are wrapping AI into everything they can do. The other thing to think about, and you probably know this, the world is based on data now. The largest market and the fastest growing marketplace in the world is the data marketplace. We all participate. We all have smartphones. Google is watching you every day. So is Apple. So is Amazon. All that data is being captured in the cloud and they have their own AI systems to be able to utilize that data to sell you more services or to provide better information to you.
Great, thanks. Dr. Hafiz.
Yeah, just very quickly, AI and digital, all the technologies are going to be here. So my take is that we should use AI and digital in close connect with the traditional technology and the traditional wisdom that we have. Marrying the two, to me, is the way forward. While we move forward with technology advancement, we should not lose our roots in the traditional wisdom, in the traditional technology, and in the traditional knowledge. And this modern technology should be used to enhance and overcome the earlier shortcomings of the traditional technology, and not vice versa.
Thank you, Hafiz Bhai. Dr. Nilima.
Yeah. I would say, as I've been saying, or even my co-panelists have been saying, right, AI is the world to go in. I mean, you have to step into a world where AI is going to be there. So don't stop yourself by your age, your gender, or the location you are in, thinking, yeah, this is all for people who have finished engineering. No, nothing like that. With the latest world, as I was talking about technology, upskilling also, right? There are portals like Coursera, Udemy, where you can buy courses online, and pricing is also not very high. You can sit at home, be open to learn. You need not be an engineer to become a data scientist, and you need not be a data scientist to come up with a product. Okay, ChatGPT helps. ChatGPT is free, 3.5 version is free. So just keep yourself open to upskill yourself, because the need or the mandate for the day is to upskill yourself for the latest technology. As Dr. Ibrahim was mentioning, we need to marry the conventional knowledge with AI, right? But for using conventional knowledge, you need to have the for using AI, you need to have the conventional knowledge, right? So don't degrade yourself if you think you only have the conventional knowledge. Add AI on top of it, and you can probably rule the world. Yeah, best wishes.
Thank you. Komoji.
Thank you so much. Well, I'll probably take a slightly different approach to what the others have said. I think it's time to remember what we are as humans. Our ability to build systems around us, to create these tools that enable us to live better, have also been the reasons why certain things are going down. So I think the first thing we need to ask ourselves, I mean, whether it's sustainable consumption or sustainable being responsible, first of all, question everything. Don't take anything as a given. I think critical inquiry is something that is absolutely necessary. Don't just buy into what is being told. And I think this is something that is also what traditional wisdom has always told us. Reflect, only if it applies to you, take it. AI is here to stay. Cyber-physical systems are a reality, but that doesn't mean you have to become a victim to it or a slave to it. Please exercise caution and care. Whatever it is that you're doing, try to do it with a little more human touch to it. That's what makes us human. I want to also highlight one thing which I kind of missed. One is the degrees of freedom. I think all researchers would know this. Degrees of freedom and degrees of separation. Virtual reality is creating a degree of separation, not just between humans, but between nature and us. That is the reason why we are even having this sustainability conversation. Our indigenous populations never had this issue because they were very connected. They were not separated from the world that they lived in. And the degrees of freedom is the agency that we have to make the change in our lives. So making a difference means taking on agency. A lot of times as students, we think we are dependent on the system that is there, right? But when you start questioning and when you become an agent of change yourself, I think you create more degrees of freedom for yourself to move around. And that is what I would want to leave with all of you. So thanks a lot for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. And now, before we sum up this session, I would like to request Dr. Kiran Karnik for his final word. And please, all of us would be available out of this place when we are having a dinner or tea or coffee. Please join us and pose as many questions as you want. So keeping in mind the paucity of time, we wouldn't be taking any questions from the audience at the moment. But over to sir for your final word.
Thank you. Just a few brief comments. I know the hour is late and we want to move on. We are behind in the program. Just a couple of things, not as in kind of summary. I think we had a wide-ranging and extremely interesting discussion with presentations that were really sharp, focused, and unfortunately somewhat truncated because of our time constraint. But my thanks to the co-panelists for making their points very clearly, and I think very powerful points that come across. Just a couple of things which I want to share with you. As I said, not a summary at all, but just some thoughts from me and some things picked up from our conversation this evening. First is that clearly sustainability education has to start at a very early stage. It's not a specialization that you do after you have done your BTech, MTech, or for your PhD, do some research. It's something that has to start from schools. It's a habit, it's a behavior, it's a style of thinking that has to be built in from an early stage. Second, from that point of view, this has long been a part of our culture and tradition. The concepts like reuse, recycle, which are now so strong and powerful, have been deeply embedded here, whether due to adversity or just as a cultural phenomenon that's happened here. Hand-me-downs, for me, as personally speaking, as the youngest member in the family, I know what hand-me-downs are, because I had two elder brothers. And I'm sure many of us have experienced this. And it's a standard practice. It's not use and throw. The third point is that the three key things which we discussed, technology, sustainability, education, these can be a mixture. And the mixture is not satisfying somehow. We need to see how these can become a compound, how they're embedded in each other, how they become a serious part of working together, all three of them, with the fourth addition, which is the culture part I mentioned. I want to take a minute or 30 seconds to refresh the memory and to share with young people here a tremendous innovation which unfortunately no longer exists. I went around looking for it, I don't know if any of you ever used it. There used to be a thing which you might call a toothpaste squeezer. When you ran out of toothpaste, you inserted this and you turned it round and round, and the last dregs of that toothpaste came out. That is really minimizing consumption, minimizing use. It's part of culture. It's not that middle class families in India who use toothpaste couldn't afford that probably 5 paise of toothpaste loss, but just a habit. And I think those are the habits, cultural traditions and practices, whether it is water conservation, which in Rajasthan was mentioned, have been written about and discussed, or whether it is a whole host of other practices. These have to be integrated along with the latest in technology which you heard about, things like Gen AI, which allow individualization of courses, learning material, things like data, which are so essential to everything we do. I think these are key elements that have to inform us as we go forward in our journey on this whole thing. You heard a lot of the suggestions and thoughts. I leave it to you to take them away, digest them, mull them over, and come out with your own thoughts, ideas, and innovations. Finally, personally, I want to thank the Mobius Foundation, Dr. Berman, Dr. Ram Buj, and to see among the audience also a very, very early pioneer in what is called environment education, which is sustainable education, which is Karthikeya Sarabhai, and I'm glad that he's part of the people who are working together on this team, and great good wishes to you and your team, Ram, for taking this forward. You've carried it for many years. Take it forward. It's a great initiative. Delighted to see the expertise in this room and through the day and tomorrow. So best as you move forward in the critical area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We really thank you all for enlightening us. And now we would like to have a photo up with all of you. So I request you please take a step forward for this group photograph. And after this group photograph, we would like to felicitate these eminent panelists. I request Dr. Ram Bhuj to please come on the stage for this felicitation towards our panelists. How could this frame be complete without you, sir? So firstly, I would like to request Dr. Ram to please felicitate Dr. Kiran Karnik, the chair of this session, former president, NASSCOM, New Delhi. Please put your hands together for him. It's such an honor to have you, sir. Now we would like to felicitate Dr. Nakul Parashar. Thank you so much, sir, for being here with us. Our next felicitation is to Mr. Tim Corners. Sir, we are extremely delighted to have you on the platform of ICSE. I request Dr. Ram Bhuj to please felicitate Dr. Ibrahim Hafizur Rahman. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. It's such a moment. And now we would like to felicitate Ms. Nilima Vobugari. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being here with us and sharing your knowledgeable thoughts. Now we would like to felicitate Dr. Kumudhini Ravindra. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being the part of this international conference on sustainability education. I'm so much thankful and grateful to all of you for making this worth. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Maybe please hear it for all the dignitaries, please. Thank you so much. And now, my dear friends, with this, we are here on to our next session. And I would like to say that it's not just a session, but it's also an award ceremony which is going to take place on the stage now. But before I do that invitation part,